Hi guys, just gonna wait a few minutes to see if there's anybody who will be jumping on with me. It's Karen here from Zakoli Organic. It's a Sunday afternoon and it's a daylight saving, so we get an extra hour in the day, which is fantastic. And I wonder who's just jumped on. Who's that? I can't really see. I wonder why. David is watching. Hi David, waving back. It's Karen here. So I'm from Zakoli Organic. Thank you for those who's jumping on. All I can see is David is jumping on. I wonder who else is. If you're jumping on, you have any questions, do type them in the comments and I'll try to answer where I can. I thought it has been a few days since I do a live, and it hasn't been an easy few days. Of course, everybody's going through this right now. With the coronavirus, there has been a lockdown, of course, and with time, we're feeling, I think more and more people are feeling more and more isolated. But I decided today that I'm gonna break out of that mindset, and I'm trying to get more positive around what we can do during this time. It is a very, very unprecedented time, and a lot of people are getting very anxious about what's happening around the world, about the coronavirus. So I thought I will take this opportunity to talk about what we do and why I personally am not too concerned about the virus itself, because I feel that in the last few years I have done enough digging and learning in the health space to give myself the confidence that we are doing everything we can to equip our body when the virus does hit us, and we'll know what to do. And our body is in a much better space now than ever in my whole life, just because this whole time, hi Christina, wave back, because this whole time we have been learning a lot, partly from me doing a lot of research around health, because we were in such a low space in the past in terms of our health. And I've learned a lot from my naturopath, Christina, she's watching, about health and how to put yourself in an optimum position. So the first thing, so I'll go back to what we do, but linking it back to the business of Zakoli Organic. So I found Zakoli Organic is founded on the principle because of my passion around health. So it's not just about skincare. If it's just about skincare, it would just be about the skincare. But I really found that with time, my passion, hi Christina, my passion is about helping people and inspiring other people and empowering other people to also start taking charge of their own health. Personally, I grew up in a family where Western medicine is the only solution to everything. My dad, my belated dad, was a doctor. Was a GP. My mother was a nurse. Growing up, we have all the medicines available to us. We had, sorry, I'm just gonna turn off my notification. We have all the medicine available to us. Every time we have a sore throat, my mom will be giving me antibiotics. Just throw it over to me and go take it, and hopefully you feel better. And I never felt better, of course. And that was how my background is very much bedded into the Western medicine. I knew nothing about nutrition. I knew nothing about food. We just ate whatever was given to us. I would grow up eating white bread with margarine as breakfast and laced with white sugar because it was tasty. We will have milk powder with wheat. We thought wheat was really good for you. We would eat all of that, and with the margarine was way better than butter. We will never eat any animal fat because we believe animal fat is really, really bad for you, and it will clot your blood. It will cause you having blood clots and things like that. So that's where my health started growing up. And of course, being the youngest of the four, my mom had four children in a short 5 years. Of course, as you know, your nutrition, you inherit your nutrition from your mother. And my mother wasn't a big eater, and of course her diet is also a lot of her diet is around white rice, white bread, and things like that. So as the youngest child, I believed in terms of health, I have the poorest health all my siblings, and probably partly because inherited from my mother, being the youngest child as well. By the time she has a fourth child, her probably doesn't have a lot of nutrition to pass on to me. So health wasn't great, and yeah, so that's why I got into the space of, it's not by choice, it's I have no other solution. Because when we were very sick, we went on to see many different doctors, try to find every solution we can to try to help us, but nobody could offer us anything. The doctors just thought, you just have irritable bowel syndrome, you know, that's just what it is, just deal with it. They couldn't offer anything. They couldn't offer me any diet advice or nothing, and I was extremely desperate. And until I even went to see different naturopaths as well, and a lot of them just prescribed me with supplements, and I was like, well, I would come out from a consultation and pay $500 just supplements, but not many will actually give me a prescription of a healthy diet, until I found later on, I did find a few naturopaths that did do the diet thing, and that was when I realized there is actually a way to become better and to become healthier, and it has to do with a lot to do with what we put into our body. And it's true, what we are what we eat. And why wouldn't that be? We put nutrition into us, just like running a car. You need fuel to run a car, and you need good fuel to run a car efficiently. Thank you for all the love hearts, Christina. Thank you for your support, for jumping on. I hope I'm not rambling here. Yeah, anyway, so our body is the same. It needs the right ingredients and nutrients for our body to function efficiently, and for our body to be able to fight diseases. Our body is amazing. It knows exactly what needs to be done when to fight any illnesses. You don't need to do anything. The only thing you need to do to help your body when there is an illness, for example, any illness, is to give you the right ingredients to support your body. Love what you're saying. Thank you. This is very close to my heart because, you know, as you know, I had it's a life-changing experience going from someone with such a low health, having migraine headaches all the time, to where I am now, and knowing what I can do and feeling empowered. When I am feeling run down and sick, I feel empowered to know what exactly needs to be done. Yeah, so I just want to talk today. So that's a bit of a background about where I come from, my health, and telling you about your body is amazing. We don't need to interfere. There's nothing we need to do to interfere with our body. For example, if you have a fever, it is we growing up, when I have fever, we were used to panic. We're like, wow, you have a fever, let's throw lots of Panadols in you and just get over the fever. But it is so wrong. Having a fever is our body's natural way to fight the virus or the bacteria in your body. Why would we need to intervene? As soon as you put Panadol in the body, it reduces the temperature. The temperature is there to kill the virus, because your body can survive high temperature up to 40, 41, 42 degrees. But a lot of viruses and bacteria couldn't survive the environment. So our body is amazing. It knows exactly what needs to be done to fight viruses, to fight illnesses. So just what we think we are very smart. We try to interfere with the process, with the natural process. We give our body Panadol, and we put medicines and we throw our body with all these toxins into our body and make our immune system even... Hi CG, how are you? Make our immune system even weaker. Yes, so for example, Panadol, you take Panadol when you have a fever, you interfere with the body's process of trying to fight the disease, because you bring the temperature down. Now the virus is able to thrive in your body. That's why when you have Panadol, you actually prolong your illness. You will bring the temperature down, no doubt about it, because you're forcing your body. I'm good, thank you. Thank you for listening in though, CG. I haven't seen you for a while. We should catch up sometime. So I'm actually talking about fever, yeah. So when we have fever, our body is trying to raise the temperature to kill the virus. And if you let your body be in that space, you give it the right ingredients, you feed your body with lots of water, making sure you're not dehydrated, then you're giving your body a chance to heal itself, because our body knows what it needs to be done when you're sick. But when you have a fever, you actually prolong the illness because you let the virus thrive. Your fever might go away, but you might find that you will have a higher chance of chest infection later on. You will have ages of coughing, which is what happened to me. When I used to have fever, I would take Panadol and I would take whatever it needs to take, like the over-the-counter medicine to help with my what was that, coughing and stuff. It never helped, and I ended up being sick for the next 6 weeks and didn't heal. And I always end up with sinusitis, and I would have also had the asthmatic cough after a cold, and it will just linger on and on and on. Now, as soon as I get a tickle in my throat, which happened last week, I know exactly what I need to do now. I made my immune boosting tincture, which is one of the recipe I put out on my blog. If you're interested, let me know. I'll look up in my blog. I'll put it in the comments here also. I made my own immune boosting tincture using using things like garlic, ginger, elderberries and echinacea, all those herbs that have helped good for your immune system. I drip a few drops into my throat. I did it 4 or 5 times a day, and I never even got sick. The sore throat went away straight away. It's not just me. I put it in my son, Oliver. He had runny nose that night, and I dropped a few drops into his mouth. He hated it, so I gave him some water after that. The next day he was fine, same as David. David had sore throat the other day. I put some tincture into him. He dropped a few times during the day. He never got sick. We don't get sick anymore, and I can't remember the last time I was sick. Probably 9 months, 12 months ago. Yeah, so that's one of the things I did to support my body. The other thing I do is, of course, is about. Hi Mar, how are you going? Mar is my mother-in-law. It's funny you watching me from here. Yeah, so for me, the other part of what I did to help support my health is to really be very vigilant about reducing toxins in the household, in the toxins in the products that I use. So basically about low tox. It's all about low tox. Why is it toxin so bad? When you have toxins in your body is trying so hard to get rid of the toxin. It doesn't have the energy to try to help you, fight diseases. So you lower your immunity when you have toxins in the body. So there are so many toxins in the environment we live in now. For example, in the air we breathe, because there's lots of toxins in the air. In the food that we eat, the food, a lot of our food is sprayed with pesticides, and that gets into our body. And as you know, Roundup has been recognized now as carcinogenic. It causes cancer. But it's been sprayed all over our food, on our vegetable, in the vegetables we eat, in the fruit that we eat, and no matter how much you wash them, it doesn't come out. It gets absorbed into the food. So this is why we only eat organic food. Sorry, I've just got some notification, people talking to me. So it's in the food, reducing food. Food is a huge part of reducing your toxic load. The other huge thing is about skincare, or personal care products, such as the moisturizers you use, the deodorant. Most of the deodorant in the market, the standard deodorant in the market are laced with chemicals and aluminium. As you know, aluminium is a it's a metal that can cause Alzheimer's disease, and it is a neurotoxin. So they are in the products that we use. You put it onto the armpit, and the armpit is where we're trying to detox. That's your lymphatic system, where you get rid of the stuff. You put toxins in there. So it's in the skincare, it's in the moisturizers you use, body moisturizers, it's in the deodorant, it's in the toothpaste. And I want to talk about toothpaste here because it's something that I'm really passionate about. Toothpaste is laden with chemicals, and not just chemicals, with toxic chemicals. So 6 months ago, I spent almost 2 weeks on and off researching about the ingredients in toothpaste. I unpick every single ingredient in the toothpaste and try to find out what exactly they are. And astonishingly, every single ingredient in the standard toothpaste you buy in the supermarket, they are toxic. For example, the worst ones are, for example, SLS is in toothpaste. SLS is what people use in shampoos and in toothpaste because it foams. It makes your product foam. It looks like when it foams, it gives you the impression that when it foams, it's bubbly and it cleans. But it doesn't really clean. It just foams. But it gives people the impression that it foams. So it's added to shampoo and it's added to toothpaste. But SLS is a toxin. It's toxic to us, and you put it in your mouth, you brush in your teeth, you will be swallowing, no matter how much you spit out the toothpaste, you'll still be swallowing some amount of it. And just remember, our teeth and our mouth is skin, and our teeth is porous. It absorbs what you put on it. So imagine putting all these toxins in your mouth and you brush your teeth with it. and your kids brush your teeth with it. So SLS, the other thing in toothpaste is titanium dioxide. Titanium dioxide is what makes the toothpaste white in color. Because, you know, when you buy products in the market, a lot of it is about presentation. It makes the product feel nice, look nice. So they put ingredients in there that's not for the benefits of your mouth. It's not for the benefit of your teeth. It's just there to make it look nice. That's why titanium dioxide is added, because it makes the toothpaste look white, and pure white looks beautiful. You know, when you use a toothpaste that is white, it gives the impression it's going to make your teeth white. So why is titanium dioxide bad? It's not bad if it is a micro, if it's not it's a nano titanium dioxide. But if it's micro, it means it is so small, it can get absorbed into our bloodstream. So zinc oxide is the other thing, which a lot of people use in skincare. If you can't be sure the zinc oxide that you use is a micro zinc, is a nano zinc oxide, you shouldn't use it, because it's so small, it gets absorbed into your bloodstream and it's become toxic to you. It wasn't meant to be toxic, but because it's such a nanoparticle, so a microparticle, it can become toxic. Same as the toothpaste you use, that's what titanium dioxide, if it gets into your bloodstream, it is extremely toxic. So it's not just that. And the other big thing about a toothpaste, why it is so toxic, is the fluoride. And you know, fluoride is in our water. I don't even know where to start to talk about fluoride. Everybody believes fluoride is good for your teeth and blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that. Fluoride is not good for your teeth. If you want to have good, strong teeth, you want to have calcium and stuff, go and drink some bone broth. Bone is full of calcium, and bone broth is something that your body can absorb. You put fluoride, you're putting toxin in your body. And you know, fluoride is a recognized poison. It is more toxic than lead. And in the US, there is a requirement to put on your toothpaste a label that says, if you ingest this by how much, I can't remember, you have to call the poison center. And that's because there's fluoride in there, and fluoride is a poison. And imagine brushing your teeth with poison every day, every night, and you think you're doing something good for your teeth. And do you think that people these days have better teeth? No. Everybody has horrible teeth these days. Teeth of my mom is 70 years old. Her teeth are falling out by the time she was 50 years old. And David's teeth was falling out, I don't know, in his 20s, and he had to have root canal down, which he has to take it out. That's another story for another time. Our teeth has become very weak. If you think toothpaste is so good, why and your way of brushing your teeth is so effective, why isn't our teeth stronger and better? Why is everybody having so much problem with our dental health these days? So yeah, so teeth health to your teeth has a lot to do with what you eat and what you put on your yeah, I'm just looking at exactly why would you brush something on your mouth that can poison you. That's right. That's the thing that I'm so passionate about, because most people don't know it's poison. And I have spent, I don't know, I can't even count the hours, probably when I added it together, a good 8 hours of research into ingredients in toothpaste and how toxic they are, exactly what they are. And I've shared it in my post. If you want to look at it, you should have a read. Yeah, and this leads to what I'm going to say about, this is why I made toothpaste in one of my product range. Toothpaste is not something that's going to help me, you know, earn a lot of money. Toothpaste is one of the products with the least margin for me because of the ingredients I use, and also because I can't sell it at a high price, because nobody wants to pay a lot of money for a toothpaste, because people think I can buy $5 for a huge tube of toothpaste in the market. Why would I pay $20 for a toothpaste here with such a small jug? So it's not something that I make because I'm gonna earn a lot of money out of it. It's something I make because I want to give people the choice, an option for them to, you know, to use. So my product range, I want to have a product range that covers every single range of product, so people can choose my products and go, and then they will have a full range of product that is non-toxic. And why is my product different, and why is my toothpaste different from the toothpaste you find, even organic ones, in the supermarket? And I'll tell you, for the last 5 years, for 5 years, I've been using natural and so-called natural and organic products, and For 5 years ago, I stopped using any moisturizers I buy from the supermarket. I've only ever used my own. That was 5 years ago, and that was all good. But toothpaste, I didn't make toothpaste until about 9 months ago, and and I started selling them. I sell them now, and the reason why I sell the toothpaste is because even the organic toothpaste I thought is natural, it's called herbal toothpaste that I've been using for 5 years, I thought was safe. After I researched about ingredients in toothpaste and I realized which ingredients are toxic, I found that the toothpaste that are herbal, that is, that is supposedly good, has SLS in it. And I've been using it for 5 years. I've been using toothpaste that is supposedly natural for 5 years, that I've been poisoning myself with the SLS in there. And that's why I always, I have a lot of problem with my gum. I have gum disease. And it wasn't until the last 6 months and I've switched to my own toothpaste, 9 months, I went to the dentist, and for the first time they said, your gum disease is a lot better. It could be coincidence that it's because I switched to my own toothpaste, or it could be real that the other toothpaste I was using that was supposedly natural is actually irritating to my gum, and it's not helping with my gum disease because of the SLS. If you read my blog about what SLS does to you, you'll find out it causes a lot of problem in your mouth, especially if you have gum disease, that you're even more prone to the problems caused by those toothpaste. So yeah, so this is why I make my own toothpaste, and the way I make my toothpaste, again, you can find a lot of natural toothpaste out there, and if you look at it, the ingredients, the first ingredient will almost always be what do you call that? Water. They call it aqua. Aqua is a more cool name for water. And what they do is they just put lots of water and put some ingredients in there, make it look pretty and stuff. And maybe some of them may not have as much toxin in there, or maybe some of them don't even have toxin. It's all fine. It's all good. So it's safe to use. Some of them are safe to use, which is all good. But what I find is lacking in a lot of toothpaste, the organic, expensive toothpaste you find in the health food store, is that they lack the good ingredients. They have water, they have some preservatives, because when you have water, you must have preservatives. They have water, they have preservatives, they might put some calcium carbonate and stuff in there. But once you have water, it means that most of the ingredients you're paying for, most of what you're paying for is just water. And the reason why I make my toothpaste, and it is priced as about $23 for a jar, it is priced at that range, is because every single ingredient in there are real. And they're real in the sense that they're there for the benefit of your teeth and for the benefit of your gum. So for example, the major ingredient we have is organic cold pressed coconut oil. And coconut oil, as you know, is very detoxing. A lot of people use coconut oil for oil pulling. If you don't know what oil pulling is, you should look it up. Oil pulling is putting a tablespoon of coconut oil, put it in your mouth and swish it around for 20 minutes. And it's meant to pull the toxins out, and you spit it out. And it's supposed to pull toxins from your mouth. And that's one of the ways to clean your mouth. So I use coconut oil because it is one of the best things you can use. It is antibacterial, antifungal. You know, coconut oil is amazing for you. And then I have bentonite clay, certified organic bentonite clay. I have kaolin clay in there. And why do I use clay? As you know, clay is also very detoxing. Clay binds to heavy metals, and it absorbs toxins, and it also cleans. And clay is also full of minerals. I find it lasts my maybe nine longer because of the children unsqueezing a hip out. Yes, Christina, she's having a comment there. She uses my toothpaste. And Christina, you might tell people how long it lasts for. My toothpaste lasts for a long time, even though it's a small jar. For me, it lasted me about 3 months for a small jar. So first ingredient is coconut oil. It's very detoxing. Second ingredients the second and the third ingredients I use are bentonite clay and kaolin clay. As I described before, clay is packed full of mineral. So our teeth needs mineral, because our teeth need to remineralize. And I feel happy to let my children use it because of how good it is for them. Yes, it is very good for them. And I never worried about my children swallowing them because I know nothing in there is bad for them. Actually, it might even be good for them to swallow some. No, I'm not asking you to swallow toothpaste. If we haven't had the peppermint essential oil in there, I can say you can almost swallow them, it's fine. But sometimes when I taste it, I just put it in my mouth and I swallow some of them, and that's fine. Hi, Catherine. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, it lasts 2 months for us. Wow, 2 months for how many people using, Christina? I'll wait for you to type it out. So Christina uses my toothpaste and it lasts her 2 months. That's amazing. And she has a family of 9 people. Yep, so go back to the toothpaste in terms of the ingredients. The clay is amazing. It remineralizes and it's detoxing. And then it has calcium carbonate in there. And as you know, calcium carbonate is one of the key ingredients you need to use for remineralizing your teeth. It's calcium. So I put that in there, lots of calcium carbonate in there. And that is also the Dermaticus earth. That is, as you know, that is a fossil, it's rich in silica. And that is also, a lot of people use it for deworming, for killing parasites. So I had it in there. That's also slightly abrasive, only very slightly, not very much so. Because our teeth does need to be a little bit of abrasive in there to help clean the teeth. So I add a bit of that in there. And also it's good for killing parasites and stuff like that. So those are the key ingredients I have in my toothpaste. And of course, lastly, I have also the peppermint essential oil. Peppermint essential oil just smells beautiful. One of my customers described my toothpaste as smelling like candy because it smells so refreshing and nice. I also add, in my later versions, I also decided to add vitamin E to the toothpaste because it will even prolong the health, the life of the toothpaste, because vitamin E is antioxidant, very, very rich antioxidant. And when you put antioxidant in together with your oil, it prolongs the life of the oil by a long time. So most of my products, almost all my products that are oil-based have vitamin E in there because it keeps the oil fresh for a long time. So that's about my toothpaste. Let me look at what else I want to say about my toothpaste. And yeah, so that, like I said, the toothpaste is not my main product. It's not my main product. It's because it's not the one with the highest margin. But it is something that I'm really passionate about, and something I really want to promote because it is something I believe people should try to use because it is how amazing it is for our teeth. We should, given that all these years we have been lack of nutrients and the calciums, we've been using all these toothpaste all these years that are really horrible for our teeth. It's really time for you to use something that is actually going to be beneficial for your teeth. It's not just there for the foaming effect and stuff, or make your teeth feels refreshing, but it's also feed your teeth with the right nutrients and the minerals for it to remineralize, because our teeth does actually have the ability to remineralize. One of my favorites, it's one of my favorite, we use it every day. Awesome. I'm surprised you haven't run out yet. It's been a long time since you had ordered one. Wow, that's lasts you a long time. Yeah, so that's my toothpaste. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about also is a low tox home. So as part of oh sorry, hang on, go back to the toothpaste. Toothpaste is currently on sale. I want to put it on sale because I want to promote it. I want to promote it is because I think I want people to be aware of how important it is to use the right toothpaste and not to use the toxic ones, especially for your children. If you think that toothpaste in the market that says for children is safe, it's not safe. Have a look at the ingredients and research the ingredients on each one of them. We need to put an order in. We're getting to the bottom of the barrel. Can you tell me, you have a family of 9, how long did my toothpaste last you? For all of you? Or is there only a few of you using it? Yeah. So that is my toothpaste. So if you want to find out about it, it is currently on sale, 15% off. And as I said, it can last a long time. A small jar, a 50 ml jar, it lasted me 3 months for one person use. So for me, it's totally worth it. Price is extremely good. And the other thing I want to talk about is about having a low tox home. Hi, Dakan. Thank you for jumping on. Haven't seen you for a while. Sorry, my friends from high school is just jumping on. Yeah, and the other thing I want to talk about is low tox home. So as part of, as I mentioned before, we need to minimize our toxic load in our body for us to have be healthy, for us to be able to fight viruses, especially during this time with the coronavirus and everything that's happening. It's never been more important than before to reduce your toxic load. So what are the toxic exposures you can have in the home? You think around 2 months. Some of us using all the time, others finishing off some of the leftover products we've had. Wow, that's amazing. You guys have, I think you ordered 1 jar or 2 jars last time, and you've lasted you 2 months for 9 people. That's amazing. So that's very cheap then. Yes, so no toxin. So, but the other toxin that's very, very much hidden, nobody think about it because you can't smell it, you can't see it, you can't feel it, is EMF exposure. EMF is radiation. There is all sorts of radiation. There is the electromagnetic radiation, is the magnetic radiation, and that is and the last one is a radio frequency radiation. Radio frequency radiation comes from your mobile phone, your Wi-Fi, your smart meter. So in Victoria State, every single house has a smart meter. And what does smart meter mean? Smart meter is a power board that is able to communicate with whoever the central system, so they can tell how much power you're using. So it has Wi-Fi built into it. It's constantly emitting Wi-Fi to communicate to the center, to try to tell them how much power you're using. Oh, sorry, how much power you're using. So you have smart meter, you are cooked with Wi-Fi and radiation all day long, 24/7. And I have known people who have the smart meter on the wall in their bedroom. And one of my old neighbor, they moved house about 5 years ago. And 6 years ago was when the smart meter was rolled out in Victoria. They moved. They were healthy-ish bunch, old couple, healthy-ish, and they moved house to a suburb. And in the new house they lived, they have smart meter. That was where the smart meter was, and the smart meter was on the wall behind our bed. This is where the bed is. This is where they lay their head. The smart meter was there, and I just have to say, ever since they moved in there, their health has deteriorated significantly. They are very unwell. The husband's constantly having a headache. The wife has all sorts of health issues. And I've told her, well, I think smart meter would be one of the things that you really want to think about. Could be the contributing factor to the health. She took the leaflet I printed out for her, took it to the GP. The GP was like, this is nonsense. No way, smart meter doesn't hurt. So they just ignored it. So 5 years on, the husband's now in the rehab center for having another stroke, and he spent the last 2 years of his life in depressive mode because he was depressed. He was always dizzy. The wife, on the other hand, has been in and out of hospitals, having lots and lots of health issues. From my perspective, I think that was a Wi-Fi from the smart meter that many people don't know about. So if you have a smart meter, most of us aren't able to remove it. That's fine. Just make sure you don't sleep next to it. Stay away from it. So that's a smart meter. The Wi-Fi also, you think it's fine? It's not. Wi-Fi emits radiation, and while they say that studies have shown Wi-Fi is not harmful, the way they do the study is they go, Wi-Fi doesn't heat up your body. And because it doesn't heat up, it's not harmful. But what they haven't done is to really see what is the impact on your health, doing a long-term study of chronic exposure to Wi-Fi and how our health is. And as you know, the kids these days are getting sicker and sicker, and we are all sicker and sicker every day. Every second person I know have some sort of autoimmune disease these days. I myself have 2 autoimmune diseases. I have the Graves' disease and I have diabetes. And so Wi-Fi is the other one that you want to think about to reduce your toxic exposure. Turn it off. Turn it on when you need it if you must. Turn it off when you don't need it anymore. So if you can go into a room, you flick the light switch on. When you leave the room, you flick it off. Do the same with the Wi-Fi. When you turn on the computer, flick it on. Use it. When you finish, turn it off. Why leave it on all day long? Because you couldn't be bothered turning it off. So that's Wi-Fi. And also mobile phone, of course. When I don't use it, I turn it on flight mode. And of course, 5G is coming. Actually, it has come. In some places, it's already been installed. So if you have 5G, 5G has frequency 10 times higher frequency than 4G. And they say the 5G is fine. It's not. The 5G is not fine. You can imagine yourself exposed to this high frequency radiation 24/7. And because 5G radiation is not like 4G, you can have a 4G tower, you have one in a suburb or something, and you're far away from it, you're almost okay. You're not quite okay, but you're better. It's not too bad. But when you have 5G, because it's high frequency, so it's very high frequency, the wavelength is very short. So you need towers very close to each other for it to work. So for a 5G to work, you almost need to install a 5G tower in every second house. So you might find you have a 5G tower installed in front of your house very soon in the future, and you will be exposed to it. And there has been a lot of talk around why the coronavirus is so much more serious in certain areas in the world. So, for example, Italy and Wuhan and London, those are all the cities where 5G has been rolled out fully. And you could call it a coincidence, maybe, I don't know, I don't know. But I think it's correlated. And as you know, people have found beehives that just completely abandoned where they're near the 5G tower. The bees drop dead in front of the 5G tower. If it does that to the bees, what does it do to us? And given the 5G hasn't been around long enough, we don't know what the effect's going to be. Actually, I can have a good guess what it's going to be. It's going to be detrimental to our health. But because we haven't got the data, people would say, we haven't got proof that we can't do it. Or we haven't got proof that it's harmful, so it's safe. It's not. The fact that we don't have proof doesn't mean it's safe. So if you can, I don't know what we can do about 5G, but I think what we can do, we can share the knowledge, we can stick together, try to bring the awareness to everybody to fight the installation of 5G rollout across the country. The other thing that has toxin is, of course, your microwave. If you want to use microwave, you must use it. Make sure you stay away from it because it does emit radiation as well. Yeah, so those are the EMF. And then also the VOC. If you want to do a paint in your house, make sure you choose zero VOC paint. Zero VOC can't just be low VOC, it has to be zero, because as soon as you put the paint in the wall, the off-gassing can last for years and years and years. You can never get rid of it. In my old house, I had a room painted with low VOC, and that was the year when we were the sickest year. And even 6 months, 12 months on, I can still smell the off-gas. So if you're painting of your building, make sure you choose zero VOC paint or zero VOC glue or whatever product you're using. Always opt for zero VOC, and carpet and things like that. So that's a low tox home. The other thing I want to talk about just briefly is about your cookware, what you use for your cooking. Hi Vicky, I'm gonna wave at you. Cookware, if you use non-stick cookware, please chuck it in the bin. Non-stick cookware is laced with chemicals. If you're cooking with non-stick, you think it's fun, it's because your fried egg doesn't stick. It's not good. It's not good. Non-stick, apart from the non-stick itself that can get into your food, the gas that come out of the non-stick pan is also poison. If you have birds in the house and you're cooking with non-stick, you will kill your bird. If you cook it enough and have enough exposure, you will kill your bird. Imagine you breathing it in for yourself every day when you're cooking with non-stick pan. What I use for cooking is I use cast iron pan. They're not expensive. I bought from Anaconda, $120. I have a full range of cast iron pan. They are a bit heavier, but you can make them non-stick as long as you treat it, you oil it, you make sure you prepare it properly. They can last a lifetime and they're not toxic. If you have iron that you get ingested, that's fine. It's just iron. So just a reminder, if you're using cookware, make sure you know what it is. Some of them they say they're made of stone, but I don't trust them because they're always laced with something. So I always use cast iron, and I also use stainless steel. But just be mindful though, some stainless steel can also leach. So I use cast iron as much as I can, and sometimes I use stainless steel. The canary in the coal mine, Christina saying. That's right. Yes, so sometimes, people have been using cast iron to cook for centuries. And so sometimes, the ancient wisdom is better than modern wisdom. Modern wisdom, sometimes we think we're very smart. We always interfere with nature. It always ended up, causing us more trouble than good. Yeah. So that's so your household low tox home. And the last thing I want to talk about is food. Um, Organic food, especially, I think I touched on that already earlier about eating organic food and our house, how our food is sprayed with chemicals and Roundup and pesticides, and we eat them, and it end up in our system, and our liver is trying so hard to get rid of the toxin. And when you get to a stage your liver can no longer cope because you are putting too much toxin into our body, this is when you break out in eczema, or you have some sort of skin problem, because our skin is one of the way our body try to detox when your liver and your kidney cannot do it anymore, or cannot do it effectively anymore. So you end up with inflammation in the skin, eczema, psoriasis, and things like that. So if you have skin condition, you have rashes, you have breakout of pimples, you have eczema, it's a way your body telling you, one of the way your body is telling you that you have too much toxic load in your body. And this is where you need to start thinking about eating good food. Don't eat processed food. Processed food is laden with chemicals, preservatives. It disrupts your microbiome in the body, in your gut, because preservative, a lot of them, they disrupt the good bacteria in your gut. It kills it. And of course, it's full of toxin. Your body have to get rid of it. It put toxic load to the liver when your body is under inflammatory state. And when your body is have a lot of toxin, is under inflammatory state. It's not in a good state, and your liver and your kidneys constantly trying to fight it off, trying to detox. And if it keeps going long enough, this is when you find yourself having chronic disease, having inflammatory diseases, when you're prone to illnesses, when you get sick all the time. And I was in that state some 6 years ago. I was there. I was always sick. My joints are always painful. I have Graves' disease. My immune system is attacking my own thyroid. My diabetes wasn't in control. 6 years later, my Graves' disease is under remission. My diabetes is so good and so controlled with the diet I'm eating, with the healthy diet I'm eating. That's called the GAPS diet, by the way. The GAPS diet is eating no grains, no processed food, no grains, no processed food. I have dairy, but only fermented dairy. And eating all the nutrient-dense food like meat and the vegetables and the root vegetables, herbs, things like that. Yeah, so I've been eating this diet for 2 years now, and it's done miracles to my health. Not just my health, my whole family's health. My husband, my kids, me. So where was I? Sorry, I'm rambling now. What was I talking about? Food. Yes, so toxic load. The canary. Also toxic load. So also when our liver is trying to detox, we can't break out into eczema. And if you have a skin condition, it is your way your body is telling you you have too much toxin in your body. Don't eat processed food, eat real food. Don't buy a biscuit in the supermarket thinking it's healthy. It's not. If you want biscuit, you can make your own and things like that. I know it's not always easy, but if you do have to buy biscuits and stuff like that, make sure you buy ones with the simplest ingredients. You can buy biscuits that only have a small handful of ingredients. Anytime you see the ingredients having lots of numbers in it, you know they are chemicals, they're synthetic chemicals, and avoid them at all costs. Yep, so these are the four different things we do to reduce our toxic load in the body, especially now. And I think if you have been suffering from, you feel that your body isn't in the best shape at the moment, you're having constant cold and flu, you're just feeling a bit more tired than usual, you don't have the energy as you used to, this is the time for you to think about detoxing. And detoxing is, again, firstly, use only skincare and personal care products that have no chemicals. We provide a whole range of them. This is what our business is about. You know, our products doesn't have chemicals in there. Doesn't have synthetic chemicals, because organic stuff is also chemical, but we call it non-synthetic chemicals. Especially, and make sure you look at the toothpaste, look at your toothpaste, what you're using. If you can't afford to buy organic toothpaste, then just use coconut oil. Coconut oil to brush your teeth. It wouldn't give you all the minerals and the stuff you need to remineralize your teeth, but it is still way better than using the store-bought toothpaste that's laden with chemicals and toxin. Not just chemicals, but poison and toxin. So the skincare, personal care products is the first one. If you want to start your low tox living, get rid of them and use organic ones and use natural ones. I think at some point in the future, I will be teaching people how to make your own organic skincare and personal care and oral care products. I think it's important. Everybody should have access to that knowledge. I think something that I want to do in future. Probably not right now. Right now, I'm trying to focus on this and that. But if you can't right now, there is options in the market. You can buy organic ones. We sell them. You can buy them, but just don't use those. Don't use the chemical ones anymore. Even if you want to use moisturizer for your face, don't buy moisturizers in the market. Just use any oil. You know, put coconut oil on. If your skin can tolerate coconut oil, use coconut oil. Yeah, there you go. Skincare products, and then secondly is the food. If you can't eat organic food because it's not always available to everybody, make sure at the very least, eat real food. Don't eat processed food. Eat real meat, eat real vegetables. Don't buy sausages in the supermarket and think it's good. They have lots of chemicals added to it. Unless it's sausages that are... Christina's giving me lots of hearts. She's agreeing with me. Don't buy sausages in the market. Just eat real meats, you know. Eat real meat, eat real vegetables. Cook them. Boil them. Boil them up. If you are not feeling well, the best thing you can do to get your minerals up is to boil your food. This is why in Chinese culture, we drink a lot of soup and we grow up eating a lot of broth. Meat broth, bone broth, chicken broth, pork broth, everything broth. And why? It's because when you boil your food, you break it down and you break down the protein and the minerals and the nutrients goes into the water. And when it goes into the water, you drink it, especially if you drink it with an empty stomach, it absorbs it straight away. It doesn't have to break it down anymore. If you just eat a piece of meat, you chew it, you chew it, you break it down a little bit, it goes to your stomach. Your stomach still have to use all these enzymes to break it down for you. And you might absorb a percentage of it, but you would not get it as much as if you drink the broth. And because the broth, the nutrients goes into the broth and you drink it, it gets absorbed straight away. Even the meat that's been boiled has nutrients as well. Because it's been boiled, it's been broken down, it's also easier for our body to absorb the nutrients in there because it's already been broken down. So eat good food, don't eat processed food. It's the second step to low tox life. The third one is about your home. Find out where your smart meter is and stay away from it. Turn off your Wi-Fi when you're not using them. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of heart shapes. Turn off your Wi-Fi. If you can avoid using the microwave, don't use them. If you want to heat up your food, heat up on the stove. Add a bit of water, heat up on the stove. Don't use non-stick cookware. Don't use all this stoneware, not stoneware. Some of them are called non-sticks. Later on, they call it like a laced with stone or something. They're still laced with stuff with it. So opt for cast iron cookware or stainless steel if you can. Yeah. So and or VOC also. So that's the radiation. There's the cookware. Turn off your mobile phone when you're not in use. Never sleep with your mobile phone next to your head. Turn it off when you go to sleep. And also, something I forgot to mention earlier. Behind the wall where there's all these electrical wires, it produces electromagnetic radiation because there is electric circuits in the wire, and where the electric circuits, it creates some sort of magnetic radiation. They call it electromagnetic radiation. So if you're very close to your wall, you are exposed to it. The good thing about those radiation is it only takes about 30 centimeters away from it for you to be safe. So as long as you can distance yourself from the wall when there is switches and stuff, you are mostly okay. So if you have a bed right behind the power point, move it away. Move about 30 centimeters away from it. Then you have significantly reduced your exposure. Also, if you sleep in a metal bed, which my kids used to, I changed them to timber bed now. Metal is like an antenna. Like when you turn on the radio, you need an antenna with a metal to receive these to receive the signal. So if you have a metal bed, you're also amplifying all this radiation as well. Also, if you have spring mattress, a spring is metal in the spring, it also amplifies the radiation. So if you can, don't sleep on a spring mattress. If you can't, then maybe think about getting a grounding mat, a grounding sheet. Yeah, they're quite expensive actually, but maybe I'll do a video sometime to teach you how to make it yourself. Actually, I have a video. I'll put it on the comments so you can have a look how to make it yourself. But it does require you to buy a mesh, a metal mesh for you to be able to be grounded. Otherwise, you can buy them. You can buy a grounding mat. Something we're thinking, Zakoli Organic, for my business, I'm thinking about starting to make and sell. So it's affordable to people as well. Because if you buy a full grounding sheet for a king size bed, it can cost $500 Australian dollars. So it's very expensive. But otherwise, if you can't afford the $500 one, you can buy a smaller one for like $100. Just slip on it, so that will reduce you. That will kind of offset the radiation you're exposed to in terms of not the radio frequency radiation, but to the electromagnetic radiation from the wiring in the wall. Because when you are exposed to it enough, the electromagnetic radiation, your body gets charged up. This is why when I measure myself with a voltmeter, I was charged up to 5 volts because there was that much positive ion in my body because of the radiation. So, but when you sleep on the grounding mat means it's connected to the earth. As you know, when you touch the earth has negative ion. When you touch the earth, the negative ion will offset the positive ion and neutralize everything. So when you sleep on the grounding mat, you neutralize the positive ion that's been charged on your body because of the radiation exposure you have. So you're in a more stable and balanced state. I'm tired now. I'm talking too long. You have a great video on how to make one. Yes, I will share it in the comments below if you want to know how to make one. But you do need to know where to source the mesh. Something I'll try to source as well, because I'm thinking about buying in bulk from Alibaba, get them shipped here, and so people can access it. So I need some time to think about doing that. So I spoke about products, low tox. And last thing I want to talk about is garden. Of course, if you are able to grow your own food, I would really encourage you to. I'm growing my food in my garden, outside in my front garden, and I'm using the Back to Eden gardening approach. The Back to Eden is all about using nature, following the nature to your gardening. So traditionally people used to, dig into the garden and try to till the garden and, bring the soil up and mixing with gypsum to improve the soil, la 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 la. So Back to Eden is nothing about that. It's leave the soil alone, it's fine. Even if it's full of clay, don't touch it, build it up. Because in nature, you never have anything digging into the soil to plant something. The soil is built out because you have trees losing leaves, they drop onto the ground, they rot into the ground, they become compost, they become minerals for the soil, and as time goes by, the soil becomes richer and richer. And that's what Back to Eden is all about. Building the soil, putting organic materials on top of the soil as a covering, and with time, as they break down, they become nutrients for the soil. And don't disturb the microbe, because if you till your garden, you bring the soil up, you expose all this live microbe to the air and they die. And it takes a long time for them to, to thrive. Just like your body, in our body, in our gut, we are full of microbes. We are full of good bacteria and the bad bacteria. If you're healthy, you're full of good bacteria. If you're not very healthy, you're full of bad bacteria, of course. So it's all about helping our body getting the good bacteria, nourishing it, feed it with the good food so the good bacteria can thrive, feed it with fermented food. So same as our soil, it needs the good microbes to thrive, to have nutrients, to build nutrients. And the reason why we're so malnutrition now is because the food we're eating doesn't have any nutrients as much as we used to in the past. The way the garden was used to be done in the past was they always feed the garden with compost, with ashes. They feed ash, when you burn something, you turn it into ash, and that's full of minerals. You put it back in your garden, you put the minerals back into your garden. That's the traditional way of how people used to garden, because they never used to have synthetic fertilizers. They just used whatever resource they have to garden. They will always use mulch to cover it up. But later on, we thought we got too smart. We created these synthetic fertilizers, which is just chemicals. we throw it into the ground and the fruits get this big, and they are, despite how big they are lacking minerals and nutrients. This is why we are so lacking minerals now, because our soil is depleted, because we don't feed our soil anymore. So if you decide you want to do some gardening, even if you don't have a big garden, there is a lot you can do. Even if you have a meter square of space, even if you can use pot plants, just do it, grow something. It's really good for you. Nothing is better than eating the food that you get from your garden. And if you do have a garden and you want to understand how to establish it, this is something we offer as well. I have been in the last 18 months, this is what I've been doing in my garden. It's now a high yielding garden. I have lots of food there. If you need some advice, I can help you. I do offer 20-minute free consult at the moment, because I have the time right now. I get 2 hours back from traveling to and fro the city to go to work these days. So I get 2 hours back in my life each day that I can dedicate to maybe providing some consulting service to people. If you want to learn how to establish a food garden, an urban garden in your backyard or your front yard, you can ask for help, or otherwise you can look up Back to Eden, learn how to do it. But I'll just really encourage you to grow your own food, because nothing is more worthwhile than knowing where food comes from and saving yourself money, and the food you're growing yourself will be the best for you. Yeah, I think I've spoken long enough. And I think I'll have to put a stop here. I'm exhausted now. And this is a long spiel of what Zakoli Organic is all about. What is a long spiel of what exactly I'm doing, why I established this business, why this business is not just about skincare, it's also about the other three pillars, which is skincare, healing food, low tox home, and sustainable garden. And this, to me, if you get these 4 things right: organic skincare, low tox home, healing and healthy food, and a sustainable garden, if you can get all this right, this is a really, really, really good base, a foundation to a healthy life and a healthy you and a healthy family. And this is what my business is about. It's about empowering people to, not to just giving to the diagnosis that the doctors give you. You get this disease, you got this autoimmune disease, you have to live with it for the rest of your life, you're gonna have to take this pill for the rest of your life. This is nothing you can do about it. Just this is what the doctors told me when I had diabetes and when I have Graves' disease. There's nothing you can do. By the point when your immune system is attacking you hard enough, your thyroid has died, this is when we're going to switch you over to different medications, so now your thyroid is dead. Now we're going to have to feed you hormone. And I used to believe that. I used to believe I have no power over my own health. And that was so wrong. I have every power I have, to turn my life over, to go from being a sick person to be a healthy person. I'm still on the journey of recovering, because I'm 39 years old. After 33 years of eating crappy food, drinking fluoride water, our tap water is full of fluoride, which is toxin. I am so glad you take health into your own hands. That's right. And thank you, Christina, for your support in this journey. I've learned so much from you. If you guys want to find a natural path, I have someone really amazing to recommend, which is Christina. She's here. You should go and talk to her. She's amazing. Yep, so we have every power in our own hands to control how we want to live our life, to control how we feel, how our body is, control our health. There was lots and lots and lots of things we can do to have a healthier body, to have a healthier mind, because your mind is connected to your gut. If your gut is sick, you will find yourself couldn't cope with stresses, you couldn't cope with anxiety, you have depression, you are not in a good mood. That's all related to your gut. And I have been through that before in my life, when I have had a period of my life when I was not happy. I wouldn't say depressed, but probably for a short time I was a bit depressed. And I do not understand why. I couldn't cope with stress at the time as well, but now I'm in a very different space. It's because of the healing journey I've taken. There's still more to do, and it takes a long time to get there, but it is a journey, and I'm committed. I'm very, very committed not to ever go back to the lifestyle I've had. I'll always stick to the good food I'm eating. I'll always never ever use toxic products ever again. I will always be the as vigilant as I can to minimize exposure to radiation, to Wi-Fi, to mobile phone, you know, to anything that's toxic. Yeah, and the other thing which I haven't spoke about is about supporting your body to detox. There are lots of things as well to detox, but I don't have time anymore. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna have to stop talking. Maybe it's a video for another day. I'll tell you what I do so it's not just about not putting toxin in the body. It's also, if you already have toxic load in the body, there are also things that you can do to support your body to remove those toxins. And I'll talk about it in another video. So that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. And I have talked for a long time because I think this is the first time I just want to have a spill. I just want to bring it all out because I'm so sick of everybody saying, you know, we've got this virus happening, we're all gonna die, we're gonna get sick. No, there are things we can do. It's not just about social distancing. It's not just about, we don't ever want to see anybody anymore. We just hide in the house. It's also about preparing your body, put your body in the best state. Go take vitamin C, go eat lots of good food. Do it now. Take fermented food. If you want to learn about fermentation, I am offering a course. I have offered a course. You can still purchase the video if you want to. That will give you the basic of learning how to ferment. With that video, you will be equipped with a key knowledge on how to ferment successfully. So if you want to do that, do so. If you don't know where to find it, you can message me. I'll tell you where it is. So yeah, there's lots of things we can do now. Do it now to prepare for the virus attack. If the virus is really as bad as they say it is, then even more important, do it now and stop using crappy stuff. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go off now. I'm gonna have a sleep. I'm exhausted. Talk too long. I think I'm on a bit of a rant right now. All right, I'm gonna have to say goodbye. Thank you. Thanks guys. Thanks Christina for staying the whole time. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.